Hello everybody, Caleb Gamer back here again today, and welcome back to the Carolina Panthers franchise. And in today's video, we are going to go over the standings, stats, just everything so far going on around the NFL as we look to move forward going through these next few weeks. We've completed 6 weeks in the books, and we want to see how everything's shaping out before we play our game against Tampa Bay. And before we get really going into this video, I do want to let you guys know that we are starting to stream on Twitch. I have a link to the new Twitch channel in the description below. So if you want to be part of our streams that we'll be doing over games like Madden, Minecraft, Fortnite, MLB The Show, other sports games, other shooters, anything, honestly. If you want to go check it out, we'll be streaming on Twitch. That'll be in the link in the description. Go follow that. Also, if you enjoy the videos from the Carolina Panthers franchise or Minecraft or anything, please make sure to subscribe and turn on bell notifications so you can see everything that comes from our channel when it comes out, so you can see what happens and keep updated with everything. Now let's get on with today's video. We're going to start with checking out currently what our stats are looking like. Specifically, we're going to look at our team first, and then we're going to go around the league. So let's look at the Panthers so far. So far, Baker Mayfield's been the only quarterback getting any action, and that could easily change in the coming weeks. Having 1,300 passing yards, but only completing 54% of his passes, having 7 touchdowns and 17 picks, really concerns me. That's for 220.5 yards per game, but the passer rating and the sacks is really, really damning, as it really hurts our reputation. We need to figure something out, or we could easily see Darnold start replacing Mayfield. I potentially was thinking at one point about trading Sam Darnold and letting Baker Mayfield stay as the main guy, especially with Matt Corral showing as much promise as he did in the preseason, but that could easily change with the fact that Baker is really struggling. Now looking at the rushing attack, Christian McCaffrey, he's been our main guy in the rushing attack. Hubbard and Foreman haven't seen a lot of carries. Actually, Foreman hasn't seen anything at all. Hubbard having 1 carry all season. McCaffrey's been the bell horse, running back having 75 carries, 473 yards, and 5 touchdowns. He's had 1 fumble all season, had a lot of broken tackles. He knows how to make plays. We just need to get him more carries in his hands, I feel like. If you look at Damian Harris, he has 20 more carries than Christian McCaffrey, along with Ramondre. We need to be able to split the downs better and get the ball in the hands of our backs and make plays. Other than that, Baker's ran 10 times for 28 yards. Hubbard has his 1 carry for 7 yards. Receiving the football, Rashard Higgins has easily been one of Baker's favorite one of his favorite guys to go after, having 24 receptions so far in the season, being one of 3 guys with over 20. DJ Moore having 15. But then you guys got like Robbie Anderson, who's only got 4. Terrace Marshall, who got his first reception in last week's game, and then our fullback Giovanni Ritchie having 2 receptions. Nobody else getting a lot of other chances right now, as Baker, unfortunately, he has targeted Robbie Anderson quite a lot this season. I can attest to that. It's just been bad passes. Terrace Marshall hasn't had a lot of chances to play. Giovanni Ritchie, in his 2 targets, he's caught both passes. And Rashard Higgins has been one of Mayfield's favorite targets so far this season. However, he has no touchdowns on the column. The guy with the most touchdowns so far is Ian Thomas, having 3. McCaffrey has 2. Anderson has 1. Moore has 1. Nobody else has any, as that adds up to 7 touchdowns. But Robbie Anderson so far has been just not, I wouldn't say the best receiver, but Baker's favorite target. If I'm talking about best receiver consistently, it has to be DJ Moore. He's definitely made great plays. And then Ian Thomas has been just a solid tight end. Baker likes going to his tight end, so it makes sense that he's been finding Ian Thomas a lot. So it's been working positively for the team. Now looking at the defense, Corey Littleton has the most tackles on the team, having 36. Now we look at tackles for loss, it's Brian Burns, who's been absolutely phenomenal for this season. And when we look at sacks, he also leads the team in sacks with 2.5 sacks. Derek Brown right there with 2. 1.5 sacks for your Tagros Matos. Corey Littleton having a sack and a half, and J.C. Horn at cornerback having a sack and a half. And then a bunch of guys with just 1 sack before Xavier Woods is the first guy that we see with no sacks. Look at the interceptions. This team knows how to get turnovers, and Dante Jackson, I misspoke in the last episode saying he had 8. He has 9 interceptions on the season this season. This team knows how to get turnovers. It's just that we're turning the ball over so much with Baker Mayfield. C.J. Anderson having 4, Xavier Woods having 2, Jeremy Chin having 2, Duke Johnson having 2, and J.C. Horn having 1 of interceptions, respectively. Dante Jackson been a great cornerback for us this season, having 9 picks, 291 interception yards, and 35 tackles. He's been so good for this team so far this season. Pass deflections, he has, how many touchdowns is it? 4 touchdowns so far this season on 9 interceptions. He's been absolutely phenomenal for our team this year. When it comes to making a contract extension, he's definitely going to be getting one. Kicking, Zane Gonzalez, he's 8 for 9 on field goals made. He has not missed an extra point, going 13 for 13. He's been really solid. Punting, Johnny Hector's had to punt 8 times so far this season. I'm hoping to lower that number a little bit as, well, unfortunately, not lower the number as, like, he's punted too much, because there's definitely been drives where Baker just throws a pick on 3rd down and it cost a punt. But, yeah, Hector's punted 8 times so far this season. Kick returning, that's been really Shee Smith. Chuba's had a couple. Rashard Higgins has had 1. But Shee Smith has been the main guy, having 1 touchdown. Hubbard returned 1 as well. Punt returns, that's been all Christian McCaffrey. He's had 6 punt returns for 68 yards. No touchdowns on any of those. And then we are there. Let's check the league leaders out now as we head over there. In the NFL, Bridgewater having such an amazing season. This is my first time actually checking these. Having 13 touchdowns to no picks. So when we look at passing yards, Bridgewater leads the league in passing yards. Pass completions, we're looking at Josh Allen. Touchdowns. Allen leads the league in touchdowns, 21, and he has 0 interceptions on the season. A great start for the Bills quarterback. Russell Wilson also has 21 touchdowns with 6 picks. Most picks, I'm going to assume that's Baker, and that would be correct. Best completion percentage for a guy that's actually starting would be Trevor Lawrence, throwing a 71% completion percentage. Average yards per game, Bridgewater throwing for 335 yards per game. Well, he's really slinging it. Wonder what's going on. That interesting that they're starting Bridgewater over Tua. Passer rating for guys that are starting, Josh Allen has one of the highest. That makes sense, saying he has no picks, 21 touchdowns. Really, that means then he hasn't thrown an interception. I think last time he threw a pick in real life was week 15 of last season. So that just continues on into 6 weeks of the new season. So that's really impressive. Most sacked quarterback in the league is Joe Burrow. Kind of disappointing. We're right there, 1 sack behind Trubisky and Stafford. Joe Burrow, Stafford, and Trubisky all having 19. Baker right there with 18. Looking at rushing attack, the guy to beat right now is Nick Chubb with 621 rushing yards. Also has 6 rushing touchdowns. The guy with most rushing touchdowns, though, is Joe Mixon, who has 12. Receiving the football, Michael Thomas. Man, he gets healthy again, and right here, 50 receptions, leads the league in receptions and receiving yards. How about touchdowns, though? We look at Christian Kirk, the highest paid receiver. Well, at one point was the highest paid receiver. Now he's definitely not. But he has 8 receiving touchdowns. Njoku has 8. Tim Patrick also has 8. Glad to see him healthy in Madden, as he's going to be missing this season with, I believe it was a torn ACL. But good to see him doing well in Madden with Russell Wilson. Now looking at defense, Devin Lloyd leads the league in tackles with 56. Tackles for losses led by Aaron Donald. No surprise there, tied with Quinnen Williams. For sacks, we look at Yannick Ngakoue and TJ Watt, both at 7.5. DeForest Buckner and DeMarcus Lawrence following really closely in that regard. Shaquille Griffin, I don't know why Dante Jackson does not show up here, but Shaquille Griffin has 4. We know Dante Jackson has a lot more than that with 9. Kicking, the best kicker in the league so far this season has been, accuracy-wise, technically Brian Johnson, but for a guy that's gotten many, Kyle Fairbairn. Anybody miss any extra points? Well, let's see. Who has the worst extra point percentage? That would be Riley Patterson, going 7 for 8. Joey Sly, there's only 4 guys in the league that's missed an extra point. That's Dustin Hopkins, Josh Lambo, Joey Sly, and Riley Patterson, but nobody's missed more than there's more than one, and only one of them actually missed it, being Josh Lambo. The other ones got their extra points blocked. Okay, that's interesting right there to look around the league. So that's our little run through the league of stats and everything. So now with that under wraps right there, let's head over back to the home, and let's check out the standings so far this season. So we're going to go through each division, then we'll look at the conferences. Starting with the AFC North, the Browns are 6-0, looking really solid. One of the undefeated teams. I think there's 3 in the league right now. If I'm not, I'm about 90% positive in that. I know there's at least two. There might be a third. I'm not 100% sold on that. Bengals at 4-2, the defending AFC champs, kind of building off a stride. They've dropped 2 in a row, as you can see by the streak right here. They've dropped 2 in a row. So, they started off 4-0, lost the last 2. They'll probably turn it around. Ravens are 3-3, finally looking healthy for once with a 1-game losing streak. And the Pittsburgh Steelers absolutely doing terrible. First year without Big Ben since 2003, and they are 0-6. So they are really, really struggling. Go to the AFC South now. The Colts are at 5-1, first year of Matt Ryan at the helm, and he's doing really, really solid. The Titans are down to 2-3, lost a lot of receivers, a lot of loss to depth, and it makes sense why they're struggling so hard. Texans are at 2-3, and the Jaguars are at 2-4. Luckily, they don't have Urban Meyer as the coach anymore, but they're still struggling to win football games. And the AFC East, no surprise here, Buffalo's 5-1 at the top of it, but they're being closely tailed by Miami at 4-2, with Teddy Bridgewater having an amazing season that he's having. Patriots definitely having a off season in Foxborough as they are 2-4. Mac Jones probably having a little sophomore slump, and the New York Jets at 1-5, definitely the bottom of the AFC's second worst team in football, only behind the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now we head to the AFC West. Now we got the Raiders at 5-0, another one of the undefeateds, dominating this league with Josh McDaniels as their head coach. New look offense. Chandler Jones is out in the offseason. Devontae Adams, obviously. Raiders looking really solid so far. Chiefs at 3-3, first year without Tyreek Hill, with Patrick Mahomes as the leader of the offense. So trying to see how the Chiefs can recoup. The Broncos at 3-3, Russell Wilson having a decent start to the season his first year in Denver, and surprisingly, Chargers are at the bottom of this division. A lot of people had them really high up, and they're really struggling at 2-4 at the moment. Now heading to the NFC North, this division's really compact and tight, as the Bears lead at 3-3, but the Packers are also tied at 3-3. No Devontae Adams. I think their best receiver is, trying to think, not Alan Lazard, Equimius Ara St. Brown, I think. If I completely butchered that name, I'm very sorry. But 3-3 right now for the Green Bay Packers. They also have Sammy Watkins. That's another one they have. The Lions, 2-3 right now. They've already had a bye week, so they got to play the rest of the season going forward. 2-3 so far in the season. And Dan Campbell, not terrible. Vikings, they thought it was Mike Zimmer as the problem, but right here is showing that it's not, as they have a perfect chance to pounce on the NFC North that everybody else weakened, but they're only sitting at 2-4. In the NFC South, our division, Saints currently lead at a 4-2 record. The Bucs are at 3-3 after winning 2. Saints have won their last 3. We were at the top of this division at 3-1. Then we've lost the last 2 to the Niners and the Rams. We're down to 3-3. We really got to turn around in Week 7 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Falcons are the bottom of the division at 2-4. Hopefully when we get to playing them here soon, that can be an easy win for us and get us back going, but we really need to beat Tampa Bay or we could start really dropping quickly. In the NFC East, the Commanders are the third. I was correct. There's 3 undefeated teams. They're the third of the undefeated teams at 6-0. They're having a great start to the season. First year as the Commanders, obviously, from being in the name redacted, or the Washington football team. Starting off great to the season, Jalen Hurts and the Eagles. A lot of people have them as the favorites in the NFC East this year, but the Commanders are definitely showing why they should be. And the Eagles with Jalen Hurts as their quarterback, not doing terrible, but probably could be doing better. The Cowboys at 2-4 and having another off season. After trading Amari Cooper, a lot of people questioned why they did certain things they did. And it's really showing its ugly head right here as they're down to 2-4. The Giants are also at 2-4. And they are also struggling, but that's not a shock to anybody, as a lot of people had them struggling this season. And the NFC West, the 49ers are at 4-2. They're having a great start to this season. They lost their last game, but they beat us 2 weeks ago, if you guys remember that one. The Arizona Cardinals at 3-3. They're on a 2-game winning streak. When we faced them, we knocked them down to 1-3, and they haven't lost since. Rams, our most recent opponent, they went to 2-4 after beating us, and they're on now a 2-game winning streak. The defending Super Bowl champs looking to try to get back, but they are not having a good start to the season and getting there. And obviously at the bottom of this division, no shocker here, the Seattle Seahawks, who gave up so much to get going, and now they're stuck with Drew Lock or Geno Smith at quarterback. I believe it's been Drew Lock this season. Young team right here. It's going to be some time until they're back on top of the NFL world. In the AFC, the current standings would look like, if the playoffs started right now, the Raiders would be in, the Browns would be in, the Colts would be in, and the Bills would be in as division winners, with the Bengals, Dolphins, and Ravens being the wild card teams. That actually works out pretty perfectly. No conflicting divisions, so that's really simple. In the NFC right now, the season ended at the exact moment, the Commanders, the 49ers, the Saints, and the Bears would be your division winners. Correct? Yes. With the Cardinals, Eagles, and Packers being the wild card teams, with the Bucs and us being the first two teams out at 3-3, losing tiebreakers to the Packers for reasons I do not know. Now, the last thing I want to look over before we end today's video is I want to go over our schedule as far as the season and see what we have coming up. Looking at the team schedule, we started off the season losing 22-12 to the Browns, and a game that was just really sloppy from us. If this is going to be recapping games, Watson threw 3 touchdowns and 3 picks. Baker had one of many really bad performances, having no touchdowns and 4 interceptions. McCaffrey really didn't show up. This offense really struggled and showed its ugly head. However, in the defensive category is where we shined. As you see right here, Dante Jackson got 2 of his first 9 picks, and I believe we scored 1 defensive touchdown in this game. No, we did not. So that we just had a bad game in general. There's not a scoring summary. I wish there was. That's kind of a downside. But Giants, came back around against New York and won 45-14, absolutely throttling the Giants. In a game where Baker looked better, having a touchdown and a pick, not turning the ball over. We picked off Daniel Jones 6 times. Rushing the football, McCaffrey ran it in twice, having 8 carries for 20 yards. Receiving the ball, we saw definitely upgrades from our team, as Rashard Higgins had 5 receptions, Ian Thomas had 4 for a touchdown. But again, it was our defense making plays. Our defense keeps us in so many games, as we'll continue to see. Dante Jackson having 3 picks, T.J. Edwards having 2, and J.C. Horning having 1. And for the touchdowns, which makes sense why we got to 45, Dante Jackson scored 2 of them. Nobody else had 1. But that's how we got to 45 there. Against New Orleans, our first division game of the season, we won 34-20 in a pretty solid game from us. Baker threw a touchdown and 4 picks. This was just turnover fest from both teams. In Carolina, so it'll probably change a little bit when we head to the Dome. Then we played the Arizona Cardinals, where we went to 3-1 and we were looking really strong, had a 20-14 victory. In a game where Arizona could have definitely beaten us, we were very beatable this day, but Murray kept throwing picks, and for some reason really late they got very conservative play calling and ran off so much clock, and we were able to hang on and win the game. McCaffrey was phenomenal in this one, running for so many yards. Couldn't find the end zone, but he was really great at just making plays and getting yardage. This has been our biggest weakness, though. As you see right here, DeAndre Hopkins had an amazing game. Probably need to focus more in on having Dante Jackson run the number 1 guy, but we'll figure some things out with that. But our defense keeps us in so many games. As you see right here against the Niners, we lost 38-21, and as you see, Trey Lance only had a touchdown and an interception. Baker went 2 for 2. However, you're probably thinking, how in the world did they throttle us? It was this man right here. Elijah Mitchell had a game of his life, having 17 attempts for 138 yards and 2 touchdowns. He was phenomenal in this game. And then the defensive side of the football, everybody was making plays. Ambry Thomas had 2. I believe one of them went for a pick 6. Yeah, only one of them went for a pick 6. We didn't get a single pick off Trey Lance in this game. This is one of the worst games by our defense. This is one of our worst games overall, in my opinion. We played awful in this game. I think it's worse than the Browns game, because at least we kept in the Browns game. We had no chance of beating the Niners in that game at all. We got absolutely beat. And then against the Rams, probably the most disappointing loss so far of the season. A game which was very winnable, and at times the Rams were trying to give to us, but time and time again, we just could not execute an offense. We did not score. We didn't score a single offensive touchdown in this game. Our one touchdown in this game was a pick 6 by Dante Jackson. As you can see right here, I'll show it. I'm not going to put the play on the screen, but I'll show the fact that the one touchdown from our team was a Dante Jackson pick 6. That's very disappointing in a game where the Rams were very beatable and the game was very winnable. They tried to give us the game, especially late. You see in the fourth quarter, we put 10 on them to get it to 13-10 before they drove down the field and scored on us. We had a perfect opportunity to get right back down and win the game, and Baker threw a pick. So we got to figure something out as we get into the next part of the season. In the next few weeks, our next 5 games are going to be the Buccaneers, the Falcons in Atlanta, going to face the defending AFC champs, the Bengals, the Falcons again, and then we go to Baltimore, and then just for laughs, we got the Broncos in Carolina right before our bye week. So that's our next 6 games technically right before our bye week. We get the Falcons twice, get the Bucs once, get the Ravens, Bengals, and Broncos. We got a tough schedule coming up. 2 of those teams were in the playoffs last year. One of those teams was really, really good last year, just injury plagued. And one of those teams is very, very good this year, now with Russell Wilson as our quarterback, and the other 2 teams are the Falcons. So, with that being said, that is our first quarter of the season recap, in my opinion. We're 6 weeks in, got 18 weeks in the season. We'll have a new update once we hit the bye week, which will go over everything with the team yet again. For now, though, when you're ready to see more action, we'll be right back tomorrow, as we'll have the Buccaneers facing off against the Carolina Panthers in Week 7 of the season. If you enjoyed today's video, please like, comment, subscribe, do it all so you can see when the next video is uploaded or when I go live. Also, make sure to follow the Twitch in the link in the description below. That's where we'll be doing all of our streaming, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out, everybody.